Hello, my name is Bill Haley, and this is for Haley 2024 The Movement's Government Reform Ideas. This video is going to be about stop protesting school board meetings and let's change to parents selecting from about a dozen different school boards. So we have a lot of movement right now about people protesting at their school boards about how their schools are run. It should not be a monopolized government system. Education does not need to be socialism. Let's change to a selecting your school board. Then your school board, you pick the one that matches your philosophy. So let's go through the system real quick and how we get to a selected school board. How do we get about a dozen different school boards within Virginia or within North Carolina, within every state? And then every parent or every teenage child decides what school board they want to be taught within. Which one matches their philosophy, matches their values. So there's no more protesting because you group with like-minded people. And then you get educated the way you want to be educated. You educate your children the way you want to educate your children. So let's go through the system real quick. So let's divide every state's education system into roughly 12 statewide school boards. To start, every state legislator picks a school board member. That's just a way to get started. These school board members, that's the ones selected by their state legislator, group up in like-minded school boards. So libertarians go with libertarians, liberals, conservatives, people who like Heritage Foundation or Brookings Institute, people who want more left-leaning versus right-leaning, conservative versus Green Party. All these people have different ways they want to educate their children. A school board must be at least 5% of the population. So to start off, let's do 5% and 15%. So within that grouping, then these roughly 12 school boards advertise to parents and students. Parents and teenage students select their school board that they want to join. So you're going to have about a dozen to choose from. Now the school boards must be at least 5% and no more than 15% of parents. And students now. So it switches from school board members just to start to now a system of students and parents. So we can't get too big and we don't want to get too small. But all you have to do is group together with 5% of your fellow citizens of your state and you can have your school board. Now a school board must be at least 5%, no more than 50% of students. Parents and teenage students elect their school board members within their members. So very rapidly go from legislator appointed school board members to very rapidly within months go to a once the parents join the school boards, they elect their school board members within just their membership. So every school board has a separate election within their memberships. So the 5% of the people who gather together, they elect their school board members. Everybody has one vote within their school board. School board assets are addressed. Within this whole system I have, they're going to be addressed. They're going to be distributed up. I have a way of doing that. That's not for this video. Teachers will need to apply to different school boards. So every teacher still needs to be applied. No, they're going to still need the teachers. They're going to go. Most teachers are going to go to the ones that match their philosophy of how they want to teach. School boards would be wise to share school buildings, busing, and assets. So that's going to be addressed within the system. Every school board decides how they want to handle all the different issues. Let's discuss some of the issues real quick. Religion. Only one school board needs to stay secular. All the other ones can go Jewish, Christian, Catholic. Different denominations of Christian is what I'm talking about. Catholic, Protestants, all the different ones. Muslims, and all of them. Now, they can discuss how much they want to go into that as well, mildly or significantly. That can be done. But one has to stay secular, the other ones don't. There's no need for the other ones to go. Every parent, if you want to go secular, you can have that school board. Funding levels and taxing can start to be separated from different school boards. So once the school boards are there, they can start taxing and long-term taxing. Right now, we have long-term taxing to pay back your education. Every school board can address that differently. CRT, critical race theory, how is that going to be taught? Sex ed, masking, all these are hot button issues right now. Every school board can address that differently. Vaccine mandates, history, sports, all these things need to be addressed. Discipline, that's a big issue. Funding levels, discrimination, hiring practices, administration cost, what percentage goes to administration versus in the classroom, race relations, do we do online or in classrooms? How do we deal with all that? Learn for college or for a trade, or a nice balance between the two. How good of a quality of education are you getting? If it's a bad education, people are going to change the school board. How do you deal with transgender issues? A big focus right now. Focus of education, work, school, life balance. How much homework do you give? What's going on there? 5% of like-minded citizens can gather and can be governed the way they want and the way they desire to be governed, as long as they are not harming others. So we don't want to get into negative externalities, and we're not going to do negative externalities. Obviously, you can see some extremes. You go too far into one religion, and they're going into the bad part of what some Muslims teach with hatred or whatever. And other religions can do some of the same things if they go way to the extreme. We deal with some of the extremes. There's ways to deal with that. But as long as they're not harming others and they're not going to the extreme, they should be able to govern themselves. Your RA, your rating agency, or your CRA, well, your rating agency can rate and inform. We'll deal with the rating agency later. You haven't got to that in this video yet. If you are unhappy with your school board, change your school board. If they're doing something you don't like, you have a chance to change. Or vote within your school board with your like-minded people to do that minor changes, because you already gathered with like-minded people. If the school board is spending too much, switch to a CRA that spends less. Or if you want them to spend more, spend more. But you're going to have to come up with the taxes or the fees or however they want to fund it to deal with that. The charity system will be able to assist. So because we're going to a different system, the charity system is going to play a role. Government welfare would be gone within other reforms I have. Here's a full system. Go to the CRA structure videos. Go on my website, haley2024.org. You're going to be able to see how it's structured and how we do the transition. I gave a little bit of the transition here. So everything's easy to find on my website, haley2024.org. Please consider a donation to this Haley 2024, the movements, the organization. And until the next video.